guest today is Scott Hanselman. Scott, how are you, sir?
I'm very well. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. I'd love to have you on my show because I don't know if I told you this, but I'm a huge fan of your show.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. I like your show as well.
Thanks. What do you want to talk about?
Well, by the time this is up on your website, Visual Studio 2012 will have come out.
It's exciting.
It is exciting. One of the things that we like about it on the web team, the angle brackets team, I like to call them, this is Azure Web Platform and Tools. So we put a lot of work into smoothing out rough edges. Like there's big features, and we should be excited about big features, but we've gone through the entire thing from file new project up till publish, looking for those kind of tiny paper cuts that hurt you as you are doing web development.
Well, give me an example of some of those.
So if you go into a C# file, you can right-click on a function and say go to definition, and that's a great feature.
Yep, F12.
Exactly. And if you go into JavaScript, currently it doesn't work.
Right.
And that's just like irritating. You might go into then the CSS editor, and then you don't get collapsing or regions, and you have regions in C#. Or if you want to look for a color for CSS, you want to have a color picker. There isn't one of those. So then you fire up Paintbrush and you use their color picker, and then you copy the hex values into the thing.
Right.
Little tiny things. Almost things that you don't even know hurt.
Right.
So we've gone through all the editors, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, to make sure that they have parity with the C# editor. So you have go-to definition in JavaScript now. We have a color picker in the CSS editor integrated into the editor itself. We've made sure that you can publish from the command line really easily. So not just right-click and publish, but also deploy to Azure or your host from the command line. Those are like small examples. Also, we've gone out of our way to decouple the web platform tooling, that means the dialogues and buttons and widgets and stuff, from Visual Studio, so that even though Visual Studio is going to ship or has just shipped, you don't have to wait 18 months or 2 years for the next version of Visual Studio to get new features.
Or you could release a better dialogue, you're saying.
Right. So we made them VisXs. Remember the VSIX? Those are the extensions to Visual Studio. Web Platform and Tools is itself an extension to Visual Studio. So this fall or next spring, we could have Web Platform 2013 on Visual Studio 2012. Because the web moves faster than Visual Studio moves.
So define web platform.
So when you say file new project, and you pick ASP.NET, all of that's the web platform. MVC, web forms,
set of templates.
That set of templates. Thank you for saying that. So the templates are externalized. They are. You don't have to go and install 3 gigs of another version of Visual Studio to get new templates.
Oh, that's interesting. So you've been doing this for a long time with MVC.
It's a master plan, exactly. So we've externalized all of ASP.NET now. So not just MVC. You bring up a great point. MVC is an out-of-band release.
Right.
We call that.
We're getting it through NuGet or through some external download or something
Exactly. So now, effectively, all of ASP.NET is an out-of-band release.
So how am I as a developer going to get that next version?
So
6 months or 12 months?
Yeah, some number of months, maybe Christmas, maybe next year, you'll fire up Visual Studio and a balloon toast will pop up. And it'll say, updates to Visual Studio are available.
Interesting.
And you'll hit update, and maybe it'll launch Web Platform Installer or something, and it'll download a small diff, and then update just those tools. Same version of Visual Studio, new version of ASP.NET Web Tooling. You could get Azure tools that way. You could get new CSS editor features. So we're trying some new stuff that we want to change in like CSS that we didn't have ready for release, but we will have ready later in the year.
Very cool. What else is coming to?
We want to be able to add new features while making existing stuff stable. So I want to make sure that I'm not going to freak out the web forms developer who's maybe working in an enterprise and he wants a stable product. But I don't want to lose the excited client-side developer who wants to use JavaScript templates. So, for example, if you plug a JavaScript template into Visual Studio now, you don't get syntax highlighting. It would be nice if you could. But I'm not going to wait until 2014 to do that. So we'll update. We're maybe thinking about calling it Power Tools, Web Power Tools, or Web Essentials 2013 or something. We're brainstorming. But it'll be a little update that'll give you new CSS features and new JavaScript features and new templates and maybe a new dialogue for File New Project itself.
I've heard you talk about this idea that the fact that we have to choose at the start of a solution, whether we're going MVC or web forms, that this is something that Microsoft is thinking about changing, making it more you could defer that decision to later, or even mix
Exactly.
things together. And that's not coming with Visual Studio 2012.
So that won't come with
Is that something that
2012.
could be pushed out?
We could totally
mid-release?
push that out. I would like to push it out. This time, if it hasn't come yet, this time next summer, then we've probably done something wrong.
Okay.
I want to be able to say, file new ASP.NET application, and then bring in pieces that I want with NuGet. So I'd like to be able to say, I want Web API and Web Forms and mobile and jQuery and Hibernate,
Okay.
and then save it as a favorite or a preset of some kind, and then hit
Sure.
OK. So then file new application, enter, gives me David's favorite application, and not the default template. Because you always
Right.
make the default template, and then you spend all this time getting it up to speed.
Right.
What if you could take an ASP.NET application as it is and say, that's exactly how I want it to be. All ASP.NET apps should be based on that. Then file new project, OK, gets you your app.
I think there's a way to do that, but you have to save files into some.
You can make your own
Weird, obscure
templates
directory.
and zip them up and change stuff, yes. There's obscure ways to do templates, but we think that a more cafeteria plan,
Sure.
where someone can say, I want a little of this and a little of that, is the way to go.
Are people, how's the reception to this? Because I see a lot of different people. I'm a consultant. I go out to companies a lot, and some of them, as you said, they're kind of afraid of change.
Yeah.
And they want guidance. They like that guidance. And then I
Right.
go to a conference like this. We were at that conference in Wisconsin,
Mm-hmm.
and I think the attendees here, they're spending their money and time to try new things. Maybe
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
they're a little more daring.
I think that people want control, but people want things to be reliable. So once they've got things the way they want, they don't want their cheese moved. So I'm trying to figure out how to design a system such that an advanced person could say, oh, a playground. And maybe they're the chief architect of some company. Then they get the system set up, and then they want to have that template used by all of the people that don't want that kind of control.
Right.
So the Joe developer can go file a new my company approved application and hit OK. And they're going to get a stable system they can rely on. But advanced guy can do and see crazy things that are kind of out there.
And you foresee Visual Studios being able to serve both audiences then?
That's the goal,
Yeah.
right? I don't see any reason why it couldn't. If an ASP.NET application becomes the sum of a bunch of different smaller NuGet packages, then we have a conservative default and the ability to modify that default.
Okay.
And that will serve both people. That's the theory.
Anything else?
No, I think that's a lot.
That's a lot of cool stuff. Well,
It is.
Scott, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I have a lot of friends in technology, and when my technology friends call me with friendly questions about technology, I tell them to watch Technology and Friends.